Welcome back, everybody. This is Legit Lee back again with another designing part 2 video of the actuator that you can build DIY, basically do it yourself at home using Blender. These are going to be 3D printed parts, but the good news about it is you will be able to, if you wanted to, kind of replicate that 3D printed part with like a sheet of steel. So if you went to like a Lowe's or Home Depot, got yourself a little piece of steel, chopped it up, and then drilled some holes out of it, you can replicate these same plates out of steel. Anyway, we're gonna start off where we left off at, and I didn't make any changes or do anything crazy to it while I was off air. I don't like doing that with you guys. If you guys do have any questions or comments or anything like that, definitely hit me up. I have my pop chat open here, so we will be able to talk while we work on this. I will say that I'm going to delete these pillars that I made on the first part video because they're not really necessary. But if I needed them, I could have just booleaned and added them in, or went into the design and cut them out. There's a whole bunch of different ways to go about it, but I'm just going to get rid of them because I just don't really need them. So we're just going to go ahead and hit delete on that. Let's unhide everything, make sure we're not hiding nothing. So I'll do a Alt-H. I know you guys can't see my stuff, so I'm going to get that up here so you can see everything. Go back to Tools or View, whatever. Anyway, there we go. So we have Alt-H. We're not hiding anything, so that's good. Now, so we left off at having this base plate here for the bottom to mount this lead screw actuators ball pillow block bearing. It's basically, I have a set of I had this ball bearing or ball lead screw set that I got offline from, I believe it was on eBay. So it came in at I think it was a 20 millimeter. That's pretty nice. I like it. So yeah, it works good. This is the same exact size as the lead screws, so I wanted to make sure that everything was right and proportional. And then we put, the holes in to mount our 20 by 40 aluminum excursions in to this base plate here. So we have 4 screws that'll lock into place here. And if you wanted to chamfer, or like not chamfer, but inset, or inset basically the holes here, so when you put like a flat headed screw, you can use this whole travel. You won't have to worry about like a bolt coming through, because you could put a flat headed screw in here and then have the bolt come out this side and then bolt it down and tighten that from the inside out. So this will be pretty flat here to give you more of a travel, instead of bolting it on this side where you have a flat headed or a rounded like Phillips 5 millimeter bolt going through the bottom. So it's really your preference. You can do either or, but really I'm not going to do that. I'll probably just leave it as it is and add whichever one seems best. Maybe I'll go back later and do it if I see it's necessary, but I don't think it's going to be. Anyway, so what we're going to do here now is go ahead and bring in a stepper motor. I like to use stepper motor information for when I'm designing stuff, so especially for this, because we're going to need one. Like as you've seen in this picture here, there's a stepper motor connected to a coupler that's connected to the lead screw that pushes this around. I don't know if you guys can see that, this little plate back there that moves back and forth. So you have options. It depends on what you're using, but honestly guys, if you're going to be designing a linear rail, I wouldn't go any lower than a NEMA 23. I would say that because if you're doing CNC work, you're going to want to have something kind of stronger than a 17. Now, there are some 17s out there that are pretty long, the ounces or whatever, but if you're going to do that, you might as well just get a 23 and call it a day. Anyway, so what we're going to do is go ahead and bring in our NEMA 23 stepper motor. You can find designs on Thingiverse. If you just type in Thingiverse and download it from some random creator, you can do that. I'm just going to import it because I believe I already have one in here. So I'm just going to File, Import, STL. And then we will look for NEMA 23. And there we go, 23 stepper motors. So there we go, we have that one. Not bad. I don't know if I designed that myself through Blender just for a reference. That may actually be one that I designed just so I can, because if I designed it, it's the ones that I have here with me inside of my home. So I'm just going to use it. We're going to go ahead and pull it back to this position here. And we'll go to 3 on the numpad, so we're in right orthographic mode, so we're looking at the right side of it. Then we're going to hit R, and we're rotating, and then we just have to hit 90 for the degrees. Well, actually negative 90. But you see how we're rotating on the bottom portion? I don't like that. That's not going to work for me. So I'm going to do set orientation by right-clicking, and then we're going to do center of mass volume. That sets it in the center for where we're rotating at. That's for your cursor. So if I do R, then negative 90, that puts me at this direction. It's facing forward. And we'll just pull it back a little bit. Probably like one more. See, all these measurements right here are measurement increments of 10 millimeter blocks here. So. And once we get closer, they'll do 1 millimeter blocks, but we're doing 10 right now. But yeah, so what I'm going to try to do really is copy this one a little bit. We want the same thickness. So if we do the view item here, go to item, we know that it is 10 millimeters thick, and then it's 44 millimeters in height, and then 100 by the left and right. So, and that's width basically. So if we do Shift A, and then we're going to add a mesh, do a cube, and then we drag this over by holding Control left mouse click over to this position right here, and then we can change these parameters here. So if we're at 44, that's what we need to put on this one, I believe. And then the Y was 10. And the X was 100. So we kind of have the same thing going on here. Now if we zoom in, we can move this to a exact proportion or exact location that we need. So you can see when I'm holding down Control and the left mouse button here to kind of drag and lock into place on the 1 millimeter increments. Now if we drag up just to that line right there, we are dead flat on the z-axis plane, or the basically bed printing plane there. And so now that we have that, we are pretty much a go on there for the most part. I'm gonna double check the measurement. So we're at, not that one, this guy, 44, 10, and 100. And if we check this one, 44, 10, and 100. So that was right. And then we'll go ahead and change the color because the other one has the same. We want them to match up. That just makes more sense. Do material. There we go. And now we can start cutting everything out. So first, we obviously know that we need to boolean cut out these holes right here that match up with these holes over here to mount our stuff to. So we'll go ahead and start doing that. So what we're going to do is do a Shift A, add a cylinder, and I think I did 64 on the last one. I can't remember. Pretty sure I did though. And then we're going to change the dimensions. I think it's 6 by 6 if I'm not mistaken. 6 by 6. Oh, hold on, my mistake, guys. 6 by 6 by 50 is usually where I'm at for that whenever I'm trying to cut into something. I'll do right orthographic mode, rotate 90 degrees, pull it forward to about here. Then we're going to do Control 1 to get the back side. And we'll do Z and wireframe so we can see where we're at. We're going to move this over by holding Control and the left mouse button. Then all we have to do is drag up for our movement here. So if we are about right there, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think that'll work. Okay, so then we're going to duplicate that. Shift D to duplicate on the Z because we're going up and down. I want to put that right there. We're going to do solid mode now so we can see. We're going to, that one's already selected, so if we hit shift and right click, or left click, I'm sorry, that'll get our two objects selected here for those cylinders. Then we'll do shift D to duplicate on the X axis because we're moving over. And I would say about there looks right. We can do a wireframe to double check. And yeah, perfect. Okay. So we lined those up right. And if we do wireframe again, we can double check everything. Grab these guys by hitting shift and the left mouse click, right click, and then we are going to join all four objects to one. And then we will zoom out here. We're in right user perspective mode, so we click on this one. We're gonna boolean cut these out now. So we click on that one. We're gonna go ahead and hit the wrench icon, add a modifier. We're gonna do that boolean all over again. Add that eyedropper tool, hit apply, and then we hit delete because it's already set on difference, and that would be taken away from everything, and we have our holes. So that's good. So next we have to make a hole for this guy, but we're gonna go ahead and add the other pillow block that's going to help mount everything together, basically, because we have kind of like two. There's one that's for the, really, we could probably just, yeah, let me just double check, because in my original stuff, I'm going to open up another blender really quick. In the CNC machine, I designed them correctly. I don't know which one is being shown. Yeah, you guys can't see this one right now. But I'm double checking to see if it's the same design or not really quick. Let's see, Dremel CNC. And I am still working on that one, guys. I know it's been a long, dragged out process, but there's a lot going on when it comes to like smoothing this for some reason, so gotta just kind of bear with me here on this. So yeah, I designed them myself, so I'm gonna just select everything and then shift and unselect that one piece, then delete everything, and then we're going to export this out. But first let's set origin to center mass volume. We're going to bring it down to basically 4 level, move it over to the kind of the center, and then pull this forward right there. Good. And then we're going to export it out as a STL. Export STL. Trying to hurry up and get this done quick for you guys, because there's other things I need to do for you. I've been working on, I don't know if you guys just seen the most recent video I just uploaded like a day ago about the whole grease pencil situation. I was talking to somebody on the video about it. We may have a solution, a better solution than what I came up with, but we're gonna double check that here in a minute. And I'll show you guys all my findings. So let's just say pillow block, pillow, BLCK, BLOCK, pillow block bearing, bearing 2. There we go, we'll just name it that. Export. Now if we undo everything here, well, it doesn't really matter if I just close it out. I think it will be alright, because we're not needing to save any changes, just discard changes. Now if I go here and then we import STL, we should be able to find that pillow block. If I can find it, there it goes, pillow block 2. And that's the one that I designed right there. So they are a little different from each other. That's why I had to make sure that I designed everything correctly. So now I can just, for some reason it puts the information at the bottom. Let me set origin. I just set it a second ago. We see now it's in the center. So if I bring this back, we're gonna have to move some stuff around here and move this guy back a little bit, and then this guy back a little bit, Zoom in a little bit and make sure we pull this guy back just enough. There it goes. Top view using 7 on the number pad. And just scrolling over. And we need to line that up better. I don't think that's perfect. We're in wireframe mode so we can get a little closer of a view here. I like my stuff to be pretty much dead accurate. I'm a very nitpicky person when it comes to these measurements, guys, so you just have to bear with me here. So we're gonna move it over. That still isn't good enough. I feel like it should be a little better. It won't show it though. I'm gonna have to just manually do it to line up correctly. And I think that works. Okay. That looks pretty good. So if you do look up again, we can see our stuff. And all I have to do is drag this down to kind of line it up. But I want to make sure that it's lined up properly with the first one. So what we're gonna, oh, actually now I can see it, so we can just, that looks pretty good. That looks kind of centered, don't it, for the most part? Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. Because we want to make sure that everything is like lined up properly, basically. Now for this, it's gonna be a little weird. We have, I mean, not really. There's so many ways to design stuff that it's hard to know which direction you want to take, right? So we have options. There's so many ifs, you know. So we have where we can pull this in here, like so. Let the pillow block do its thing on the inside, make it a little more cleaner, I would say. And then we would just have some mounting screws for the stepper motors to attach to. Or we can have it on the outside, like right there. I think that's right. I don't know. Gotta double check. Maybe I had that wrong. Drag that back to right there. Okay. Then, or we can have it out here and pretty much do the same as that thing. Remember, we still need a bowling cut out this hole, so we're going to do that here in a minute. I just wanted to see which way I want to go about this. Let me get some 5mm pegs going on so I can see where I need to mount the motor to. Okay, so we did shift. Let me do, yeah, I'll do 5mm sounds right. Alright, 5x5. And 50. I do this on a regular basis, guys, so I can just get some reference going on. If we rotate 90 degrees, that gives us that. We're going to bring this back up. Oh, too much. Bring it down a little bit. So like right about here maybe? No, that's probably still too much. Like right here. I don't know. We have to see here in a minute. But if I go to top view, let's just do wireframe so we can see our mounting holes here. So if I bring it right about there, no, it's too far off. And we can always set our origin too, so if you are having trouble looking, we can grab cursor, put it like right here. Then we do set to 3D cursor. Now if we want to move, it'll be right here where we can see everything. So we just zoom in to this location, bring it over there, perfect. Now if we go front, we can see if we need to bring it up. And we're going to set origin to center mass volume now so we can see. And we're going to have to bring it up just a tad. Okay, now I don't know if that's up for... Okay, yeah, so that's for the stepper motor. So yeah, you see how the stepper motor is already going to have an issue with this being in the way here. I'm not even sure exactly where the side mounting holes is on my stuff, because I didn't design that portion, so that's going to be a little bit of an issue, but not too big of an issue. It's not like it's the end of the world or anything, but I'll have to figure out the measurements on that. This is just a reference, so don't quote me on it at the very moment. I'll figure that out in a little while. I'll probably be like a part 3 where I figure that part out, just because my stuff isn't with me at this very moment. I feel like it does line up though. You see how this circular portion is a little off. It probably could have been more centered. I don't know if that was a flaw in my design or if it's actually designed like that accurately and it's just off for the stepper motor mount for some reason. But yeah, we can do the top. I'm sorry if I'm yawning so much, guys. I'm a little tired. I've been ripping and rolling all day. We can do the top, or if I just bring it up to the top here instead. But then we're gonna wind up sacrificing some stuff because we're gonna have to make this guy taller. I mean, which isn't a really big deal, to be honest. I try to keep my stuff the same, like flush, but I honestly don't mind if it was taller or it went backwards more. It probably would do better to go backwards more, not taller, but underneath. So this going down more to mount this stuff, because this still needs to be centered, which I don't see that happening right now. So let me just pull this down a little bit. That looks a little more centered. It's hard to tell for sure. I think that'll work for now. We can see how things are a little off here. Like, obviously this isn't lined up. Let me make sure that's lined up correctly. Bring this down. There we go. And I'm going to reset the 3D cursor because it's just sitting in the way. So that'll be a Shift C. There we go. And so yeah, I think that'll work. I'm going to do Shift D to duplicate. On the X, drag it over to this one right there. Gonna change the colors to red for these because they kind of need it. Cuts, you know, those cuts. Okay, so now that we have that done, you can see that it's a little too short, so we're definitely gonna have to expand this. So those are the things that happen when you're designing in 3D. You don't know what you're gonna need until you start making it. So now that we know, we're gonna have to extend this out. So instead of it being 44, we're gonna probably like make it like 50. That's a little too much. 60, too little. 60 probably will do better. Yeah. So with it being 60, that still causes a concern of mine a little bit. The reason why I say that is because we're more extruded out on the top than we are. I like having everything balanced. And I already made my holes, but we can always adjust those holes. So if we want to make sure everything is balanced correctly, which you can see obviously it isn't. But it's one of those things where if we move this to the right position, this may not line up right. So we'll have to add more of this to scale it out to be bigger. So I don't know if we should move it down to the right proportions or not. But maybe I'll do it. Why not? Just bring it right here. And then we'll just change this to 65. No, we're going to do 70. 70 it is. So 70 millimeters by 100. And we still kept our same mounting holes, except for they're extruded out longer due to me changing the stuff around. So what we could do is undo those changes really quick. Make sure they're looking right. Still needs one more fix. There we go. And we can just measure out our stuff. So we know we need 70, right? So if we're already clicked on it, if we do object mode, and then and from object mode to edit mode by hitting tab, and then deselect all that, we're going to, by trapping A, we're going to grab our edge select there, and we are going to select the edge of this right here so we know exactly what we have. So now that we have the edge selected, if we do view, hit segment, then show, and we change the color to something better, let's do like a yellow, and then font size is 50. Regular text, so we are a millimeter, so that's good, it shows that. So now if we deselect that, hit Z wireframe, hit B and select the top, And then we hit this one to move the top. So we're going to drag this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll do the same thing for the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 60. So we need to spread these two out by 10, I believe. That'll be better. Or 5 apiece. So we'll do this one again. Top one. Bring it to the center here. And then same thing with this guy. Hopefully it registered. I don't know. No, it didn't. There we go. And then we zoom in and then bring this guy into the middle too. That'll give us the 70 that we need. Look dev, looking good. And we didn't change the holes there. They weren't stretched out because all we did was pull these top face vertices up. So now we have that. We'll go into regular object mode again. And we're going to need to select that one, and this one. Do 3 and then pull it forward so we can see what we're doing. And right about there looks good for now. And if we just let that one and this one, nope, hold on, this one, nope, that one and this one, hit wireframe, and then we're going to Shift D to duplicate on the Z, bring it down to the right spot. I think that's right. Maybe a millimeter off. Yeah, we are 1 millimeter off. I thought it went down. What happened? Oh, okay, that's terrible. Wait, am I? No, I think this is the box. So I may be a little too high. There it goes. That's perfect. Alright, so if we do that, that'll line up all our stuff. We're already selected, so we just select these. Then we will do join, and then grab this guy, do another modifier. We'll do the boolean and grab our eyedropper tool to hit this one, hit apply, and if we just select those, hit delete, now we marked our holes to mount our stepper motor. Now the only thing we have to do next is just make the hole for our screw to go through to. It'll be long or thick or big enough for the screw and for the pillow block and everything to spin just freely. And so what we can do is just match up this one. So if I go to 3, hit Shift D, duplicate on the Z, bring it up. We're just using this information as a reference, so don't mind me here. So we want to know what this circle is, right? So if we zoom in, hit tab, then we'll do regular vertice select, and then deselect everything. We're going to select this top one, and then this bottom one, which both of them should be selected parallel from each other. Now if we hit segment and I change this to a different color again, which you can always change automatically, but I try not to do that on a regular basis. I like to change it up when I need to. 50, good. So we're at 26 millimeter hole, which is fantastic. We know that we need a 26 millimeter diameter cylinder to cut through the other one through boolean. So if we do Control Z Z Z Z Z Z Z, perfect. So now that we have the information, we need 26. So we'll do Shift A. The mesh is going to be a cylinder. We'll do the 26 here. So if I go to item, do 26 by 26 by 50. And now that we are in here, we'll do rotate 90 degrees, hit enter, drag it up, and move it over to the back. It doesn't have to be that far. We want to see it. So And then you can kind of tell that you're not in the center. So if we just drag this up to the center here, it should be centered for everything, which miraculously it's not. I don't know how that did happen that way. What is going on here? That looks about centered to me. So how is it that my motor isn't centered anymore? Did I move it? I don't remember moving it. Yeah, it's not centered. I'm not happy with that. I have to fix the holes now. I could undo everything, but then it's just going to take longer. So it'll be easier just to move the holes along with the motor here. So if you can see, the motor is a little off because it's got too much on too much on the bottom and not enough on the top for the balance. So if we want to do look dev, we'll be able to see that it's not exactly centered, which is depressing. So I have to fix that. It looks centered. I don't know why it's not. Maybe I'm just paranoid here, but it seems like it's centered already. I don't know why it's not showing it on here. Maybe this is what's not paralleled. Yeah, that may be it. Drag it down. Oh, it's too much. Wireframe. Let's set our geometry here. Our cursor sets a 3D cursor. And then we do Z, look dev, so we can see a little better. Hit this guy so we can move. Too much. So when we start doing too much, that means we need to zoom in more, because we want that finer details. See, that was too much. We're in wireframe, so I don't see how I can't see the wire. The picture is in my way, but I'm not worried about it. One more? Oh, I feel like that's a one more move. It's too much. That was pretty good right there. I mean, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. Okay. So now if we set origin to center mass volume, that'll help. And then we'll do, what did I grab? I hope that wasn't the... I'm so confused right now. I don't know if that's... It shouldn't be, no. So that's lined up right. So I don't know. Well, that was a little strange. But, so if we look at this guy, that one is lined up right too. You can tell that it's dead center. So now what we're going to do is we're going to boolean this part out of here. So we'll grab this guy. Already on modifiers, all we got to do is do boolean, hit up the grabber tool. Hold on. Okay, so if we grab this, hit the grabber tool, hit this, apply, delete. So now we have the circle and everything set up for our stepper motor driver linear actuator. And I'm gonna leave it here. The only thing we have to do next is get like a base plate that goes on the back part of here to make some more rigidity, and then we will design or put in a lead screw that's like a 20mm thick so we can see what it looks like, and then start designing like a base for the top. So that'll be in part 3, guys. I hope you guys are liking the video. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. These are all real world applications here, so all these measurements are correct. And obviously you can see that with all the measure it tool information going on. And if you guys are also interested in anything that has to do with anime, soon I'm going to have an anime channel up and running. I've just been working on a few things, so it's been hard to get it set up. But here shortly within this week, I would say by the weekend for sure, it should be up with at least one episode on it. And if you guys are interested in anything like that, definitely hitting the like button or commenting or, subscribe or hit that notification bell for either one of these channels. I'll be looking forward to talking with you. I will see you tonight.